So what do these impeachment hearings mean, and has the president committed an impeachable offense? Of course, it depends on who you talk to. We wanted to hear from an expert on that very question today. Fox 12's Kelsey Watts sat down with a local associate professor of political science to get his perspective.
These hearings have been so divisive between Democrats and Republicans. Yesterday, Democratic Chairman Adam Schiff said what the president has done is worse than Watergate. President Trump's campaign, meanwhile, put out a statement saying there is no evidence of a crime. So who's right? Well, unfortunately, there's no simple answer. Most Americans want to know what the Constitution says about whether President Trump committed an impeachable offense.
According to the Constitution, he did.
I don't think public opinion should really be driving this, but really we need to go to what's in the Constitution and what's right, what's lawful.
But Chris Shortell, an associate professor of political science at Portland State University, says the Constitution doesn't spell out what exactly is impeachable.
What we're left with in the Constitution is some fairly broad language. High crimes and misdemeanors was just a term of art that was used in the common law. It doesn't specify any crimes.
He says contrary to popular belief, impeachment is not a legal process, it's political. And you may be surprised to hear the president does not have to break the law or commit any crime to be impeached. The Constitution leaves that decision up to lawmakers as they interpret the testimony before them.
You don't have to actually say the magic words quid pro quo.
He believes the House does have grounds to file articles of impeachment, but a conviction in the Senate may be tricky. 20 Republicans would have to break party lines in order for President Trump to be removed from office. If that doesn't happen, he would stay in the White House, just like Bill Clinton, and he could be voted in for a second term.
There would be no consequences in a constitutional sense for President Trump if he was not convicted in the Senate.
He says it will be interesting to see what effect this process has on voters in 2020.
We just don't have any evidence of what the effects will be, at least historical evidence of what the effects will be on trying to run for election again after having been impeached, even if you weren't actually convicted. And I think that's going to be a difficult political dynamic for President Trump regardless.
Shortell says he's giving a couple of talks about impeachment in the coming weeks, but with the situation in Washington changing every day, it's hard to know where things may stand by then. So far, we have not heard any specific timeline on when the House may file for impeachment, if that's what they choose to do. Reporting in studio, Kelsey Watts, Fox 12 Oregon.